We're live.
Yay, we're live. Happy Sunday morning, everybody. Well, it's after 12, so happy Sunday afternoon, everybody. And I'm so excited because we are in a new moon. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that before Michael joins us this morning. So, Julia, did you want to talk about the new moon a little bit?
Hi. For those of you who don't know me, I am Julia Bernatsky, and we are the co-founders. We are the co-founders, me and Mikki, of Conscious Life. It's such a difficult thing.
We got it.
I'm gonna try to make it hard. So having fun. So just smile, guys. Sunday morning, early afternoon, beautiful day. Today is a new moon. Time to plant the seeds. Time to create new. It's one of the most exciting moments when we can create and when we can create new. And new moon has the energy to support us. So just that alone should feel a little bit lighter and a little bit more inspiring. Because when we create, and especially creating new, the inspiration is part of the deal, it's part of the process. There's no way around it. And me and Mikki were talking about, like before we just came in, we were talking about what do we want to create? What do we want to see for ourselves this month coming up and this week coming up? And one of the things Mikki said, like maybe you say it, Mikki, again.
I said not feeling like you're constantly trying to catch up, getting a little bit more balanced so that you feel at ease and at peace.
Yeah. And this new moon is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is always on the go. Sagittarius is very light, and I love that about them, and they love to get up and go. There's one thing, so like I want to be able, so reflecting what do I want for myself, the energy I want for myself, that is available for me is that lightness, getting up and go, but at the same time having the balance. So when I can choose when and how, not that I get up and go impulsively, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is perfect because this is a perfect time when our guest, I can see him coming. He's going to be here any moment now. My Ocher, and I'm going to introduce him. Even he's almost here. I can see him signing on, but I'm going to introduce him while he's signing on. Michael Ocher is Kabbalah teacher, and he is a spiritual teacher, and he's also a theta healing practitioner. And together we do this broadcast every Sunday at 12. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, please know it. Please join us anytime on Sunday, and then you can watch it in the replay. So, Michael, Michael, if we can't see you, so let me just drop him a note. I think he's having a bit of difficulties. Thank you guys for your patience. Really appreciate it. We will get all together in a moment. And so, yes, so the new moon, I'm just going to remind everybody that new moon is a really great time to journal. Michael is here. New moon is a really welcome, Michael. We just introduced you.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I was saying that new moon is a really great time to journal, really great time to connect to ideas, to your new visions. And this new moon of Sagittarius will give us a lightness in creating things because they are very childlike sometimes. And that's the energy we need when we are creating. We need to be excited. We need to be easy to get up and go. And with that, let's just turn into a conversation that we're going to have today. So today we're going to talking about responsibility. and how taking responsibility is actually setting us free. It's a little bit counterintuitive, but being responsible is not about being heavy, but setting us free, right?
Yeah.
So, Mike, what can we learn from that today?
So, first of all, thank you for the welcoming. Thank you. Hi, Mikki. Hi, Julie again. And this week we have a very exciting event, like we always like to mention, the new moon of Sagittarius. And it's the new moon of, and Sagittarius is usually not associated with responsibility. That's why Julia was mentioning it. Is Sag is all about freedom, adventure, adrenaline, philosophy, having, like you said, having fun. And what else did we mention? Yes, they're the philosophers of the zodiac, and they just love to have fun. They're all about having a good time.
Yeah.
Sag is never the one to just sit and relax and just kind of not to do anything. They're all about moving, having fun, having philosophical discussions about meanings of life. Very intelligent, very wise. But as I don't know, Julia, if you mentioned it, like we're gonna have throughout the month. This month is all about opening of the heart. That's very big for Sagittarius. It's a lot about opening the heart and connecting to our truth and to our true self. And something that Sag doesn't like is responsibility. They're not. They will do stuff. They will manifest, accomplish, but they're not the sign that is just in love with responsibility. They feel like it's a burden. They feel like it's a trap. They feel like it takes away their freedom. And the spontaneous spontaneity of a moment. I don't know if you can say that, but I hope you know what it means. It's meaning being spontaneous, doing things just out of nowhere and for fun. And responsibility. What?
Spontaneous.
Yeah. New word.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So lately, there has been this energy of like a little bit, Scorpio is all about in depth, internal, not on the superficial level, going deep into our subconscious. And now Sag is just like, let's just have a good time, guys. Let's just, relax a little bit and enjoy ourselves. And the way it's actually, the beautiful thing is when you understand that actually responsibility is the way you have more fun. Because one trait of Sagittarius is they are escape artists. Like Julia called them, they are escape artists, meaning they love to find different ways of escaping, having to deal with situations, with being mature, with opening up, with sharing emotions, expressing emotions. They're not about that. They're all about whatever I feel now, that's what I'm going to do now. It has nothing to do with what I need to do. And as a lot of times in life, everything is very is opposite. So eventually, what the Sagittarius will learn in their life is that they are not getting any freedom by running away from responsibility. They're actually, the responsibility is always going to run after them. Why? You might say that, some people say you don't have to do anything in this world besides loving and living and enjoying. On the one side, it's totally right. And that's what we're meant to do here. However, our soul made a contract, made a certain responsibility, made a certain goal before coming to this world. And to fulfill that goal is our responsibility. And actually, your state of happiness, excitement, sense of freedom, accomplishment, and feeling good about yourself is going to come to you only when you start to take more and more responsibility, but not just any responsibility, but understand responsibility in a big picture to accomplish what it is that you came into this world to do. So that's it's a little bit metaphysical, right? It's not so like we don't have it written down in our birth certificate, right? Mikki Ocher came to this world to accomplish this, and that. So it's not like it's written anywhere for us. However, if a person is on a spiritual journey, is on a spiritual path where he understands that my job in this world is the elevation and evolution of my consciousness, and looking at myself from a side, not being so involved in the situation, but looking at the situation from a side and seeing, okay, so if I am trying to run away from relationships, from work, from taking more responsibility in my life, actually, I'm just running away from myself. I'm running away from what I'm meant to do in this world, what I'm meant to accomplish, and what I'm meant to share in this world. And that's not something you can run away from. That's your responsibility. And that's not something you can just go say and go ahead, oh, actually, I changed my mind. No, it's obviously something much bigger. And, there's a whole, wisdom of Kabbalah has so many, it goes into detail about everything in life, right? Every single process in life. And it says the moment the soul, a consciousness is ready to enter this world, it actually talks to a lot of angels and goes over with them, saying its goals, saying its desires in this world, saying what it wants to achieve, accomplish, and who it wants to be. And then when we are in this world, we're always going to feel good deeply inside when we are doing what we're meant to do in this world. So it's kind of like those feelings when you have like, wow, like internal serene, peaceful state and state of happiness that you know that you are meant to do this. And that's your kind of compass to tell you, am I on the right path or not? Obviously, there's other ways of meditating and asking for signs from the universe, yourself, etc., what I'm meant to do. But it's definitely not to run away from responsibility, especially the important responsibility. And if you are a Sagittarius, and during this month, you're going to be extra Sagittarius, and we all are going to be Sagittariuses in this month. And they don't take going above your nature as a top priority. Not always. They can, and some of them do, but what we want to kind of take away from this month, there's a few things, and we'll mention them in the following airs that we're going to have in this month. But my top priority is, first of all, to open my heart, because Sagittarius it's a little bit hard for them to open their heart. They might have been hurt in the past where their heart was broken, and either in this life or past life, or experiences with parents, etc. Many different scenarios that can happen, but they don't necessarily are prone to just opening their heart. So that's a huge goal for a Sag, and for all of us this month. And this month is also called the month of miracles. And miracle, as stated by Rav Brandwein, is when a person goes against his reactive nature, right? His natural nature, and makes it something better. Meaning not just reactive. Sometimes people think that spirituality means when you're always calm, when you're always relaxed, and it's true. That's one indication of spirituality. But it's more about finding out what is natural for me and going above that. So if it's natural for me to be overly responsible, maybe I need to have a little bit more fun this month. If I am running away from responsibility, maybe I want to take more responsibility. Or delve deeper and find out, why don't I like to take responsibility in my life? Why don't I just go ahead and accomplish everything and finish everything I set my mind to? So that's one thing. Another is also the very good sign of the sign of Sag is they have a very big desire, meaning they're crave for life. They have a big craving and desire to experience life, to experience what happens in it. One of the number one traits of Sag is adventure. They love to travel. They love to explore. They love to be open to new ideas, and it's good. That's an amazing quality, right? That's what we should be doing. We should constantly be looking for different ideas, modalities, views, perspectives, everything, to constantly have it new. And that's one of the key words for them also. They like newness. But especially in the mind, in the thinking process, because it's the air sign of the fire signs. But they have a very big desire. And what we learn, if anybody will start to learn any philosophy, any practice, anything that you go into that's called labeled as spirituality, eventually it leads to probably the same things, which is love, oneness, kindness, and becoming a better version of yourself. So those can stay as a kind of like benchmarks or goals for whatever you pick, whatever practice, whatever path you pick in your life. That always needs to be a top priority. That I want to know how I can love more, how I can share more, and how I can be more giving into the society, how I can provide more, really on a real level, not just on a superficial level, but going deeper in that aspect also. And it doesn't matter what you do, whether you practice Buddhism, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, yoga, whatever it might be, the goal has to be that. And this month, you kind of wanna maybe look around and see maybe there's new ways for you to find how you can be achieving that goal for yourself. Maybe you can invest more in learning a new modality or meditation practice or spirituality, etc. But having this open-mindedness in order to lead it to you to have an open heart. So the month, we're going to be very more intellectual, more in the head. It's not a naturally emotional sign. Neither the fire or the air element in astrology is associated with emotions or with a proper dealership of emotions. Okay, so emotions are going to be a little bit of not easily understood and processed this month, but it can be. And with their kind of strong logical mind, they can actually be amazing at also opening the heart when they understand that that is also a goal. The way you have more love in your life is by having a more open heart. An open heart, it means it's a very interesting place. It's basically opening up about what's going on inside of you. So being open about whatever it is that you're feeling and experiencing, to understand that it is not always the truth. Emotions are real and they need to be dealt with, but it doesn't mean what you're feeling is always true. Okay, I might be feeling something for many, many different reasons. It doesn't mean that I need to believe it or say that this is the final word on the situation, etc. So I want to have an open mind in order to have a more and more open heart. And if you present them with I know a lot of Sagittarius in my life. My chart, if you understand, has a lot of Sagittarius, so I tend to connect with that mentality very much. And I had this, for example, the urge to find meaning in life and to find answers and to find direction. That's the Sagittarius in your chart. The adrenaline junkie a little bit. They love to have spontaneous fun and just to do things without thinking about it way too much, and just to have fun. They love having fun. But we need to be honest with ourselves and make sure that we're not just having the fun to escape from something that's happening inside of us. You're not just having a good time, a fun time, having some sort of, they love, Sag is one of the signs that's prone most to any form of addictive behavior. And addiction is not necessarily substance abuse or something like that. It's addictive behavior, period. Whether it be substance abuse, gambling, running away from experiences. They love to they have the heart and the emotion, and they're so creative and finding different ways of how I can run from it, how I can run and not having to deal with it and just to have a good time anyway. That's why they're literally masters of that. That's their one of their top traits, is how to have fun. Like, how do we have a good time? How do we have an exciting time? But that takes away from, again, your mission in life, your true mission in life. And not to forget that your responsibility, the more I do my responsibility, that gives me the permission to have fun on such a higher degree also. right? It's like, I'm not just going to have fun and avoid all my responsibilities. I'm actually going to do the opposite. First, be responsible, do what I'm meant to do, and then I can have as much fun as I want.
You know, it's just fascinates me how much we are all aligned. Like, I don't know, the alignment without like knowing this information, without thinking about it, like living it, and then being like, oh my God, it was just happening with me just now. And like taking responsibility, but then also like not believing what you're hearing and what you're feeling, not believing 100% to it, being like, yes, there's part that is true. Partially my emotions and what's happening in front of me is the reality and is the truth, but being aware of that there's always another side to it, that there's always much more than we can see at the moment, because when we're driven by these emotions, I just wanted to say it because I think it's so important. When we're driven by these emotions, we're too close to things. It's like, who made that example? When you take a little coin and you put it too close to your eye, everything you can see is that coin. So all that you can see is that emotion, but you cannot see sometimes what's around it. And I think that this element of having fun and not taking the life too seriously allows us to zoom out a little bit. Allows us to like have that balance that me and Mikki were talking about in the beginning, that we want balance. We want to be able to create and be spontaneous and do things, but we want to do it in the way of having a balance as we're doing it.
Yeah.
So I think like everything that, Michael, you were sharing with us, having the emotions, having the logic at the same time, having the heart open, being able to do things with a little bit more of like having a little more fun with what we do, allows us to have more balance and being more grounded rather than flying. Even though Sag is someone who flies around a lot, like they get up and go, but having the balance means like to have all of these blessings and being able to be grounded in them. Like manifest and create and learn new while being grounded. And that's what I'm so asking for.
Agree. Me too.
You too.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking from the very beginning. I'm going to add Mikki to stream that we all, especially now, like I just always like to reflect on what's happening now. We all like, we're running a lot around right now, whether it's from Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting or physically.
Yeah.
It's true. And I was saying, like, just always feeling like you're in, like catching up. And, sometimes you need to schedule the time with yourself to find something new, or to, have a little fun, or maybe doing something new is your fun. So you get to do the best of both. But, and definitely, emotions kind of like, almost like shelving them right now, and just kind of letting yourself be free and new, like a childlike, like we talked about last week.
Totally.
I love that.
And finding the bridge, between the mind and the heart, because the mind can be very sharp, logical, etc. this month, but not to avoid that, you have a heart, and that's your emotional home, and that's your, it's probably science still, the wisdom of Kabbalah actually teaches that heart is more of they're obviously both important, the mind and the heart. But the heart is even more important as a control center of the body than the brain, which is interesting, right? But this month, definitely you can bridge the two.
And that's what we need in the world. I always bring it to the world. That's what the world needs, the bridge between the heart, the mind.
True.
So the leadership that we need is that.
Yeah, especially now, everyone is kind of, people are more and more tired with the old, with set rules, and with so much dogma and prejudice, etc. It's so, and we're moving closer and closer to a great conjunction, right? It's going to happen in like almost a month, when a huge shift of energy is going to happen. So, and it's also connected to Sag, because it's going to be the two great planets, the Saturn and Jupiter, meeting in sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius and Sag are very alike. They're both thinkers, philosophers, kind of not connected to emotions necessarily, but very connected to society and social causes. So that's going to be a very big event. And everything right now, if you, like we mentioned before, I think whatever trajectory you are on right now, that's the amplification you're going to get during this process, during December 21st. If you are on a spiritual journey and you are understanding that it's all about evolution of consciousness, that's the key. If you are on that path and you are doing honestly that work, once a month, once a week, as often as you can, doing that work, then you will be projected into that direction even more. If you're not, sadly, you're going to be projected in the false reality even more. So it's a great time to, amp our soul searching. And I think we mentioned it before also. It's a fire sign. Fire signs really don't like vulnerability. They don't like being open, vulnerable, saying that they need help. For Sag, Leo, and Aries, all these, the fire family, asking for help is probably their weakest point. And so that's another thing that we can practice. Simple exercise this month to try to ask for help, even if you don't need it, just for the practice of asking help, because that's an ego-breaking experience, right? And we don't want our ego to be controlling our consciousness. And the ego's voice is going to tell you, you know better, you know how to do it, you don't need the help. You don't need to ask. It's embarrassing. It's beneath you. You look like you're weak. You look like you can do it on your own, etc. All these things, the ego is going to present to you and be like, don't ask for help. What are you talking about? Just do it, be independent. But actually, when you do ask for help, that's when you can have the most success. Because again, you want to understand and have this kind of like plank of what is success. Success is being more spiritual, loving more, sharing more, being more kind. That's true success. It's not about how you will look in other people's eyes. So, and also to kind of be present. Like Julia said, Sag loves to fly. They're like all over the place, like a Gemini. They're kind of like twin signs. And you want to be present, don't run from everything. Don't run from emotions, from feelings, etc. Don't do that. Be present. Be in your element, where you are, what you need to do, etc. Don't try to make it like, oh, now I have to run and avoid the pain that I feel for my mom or dad not loving me by doing X, Y, and Z of this addictive behavior, just so I don't have to deal with those emotions. There's no way, it's like you can put it under the carpet as long as you want. Eventually, it's gonna get full and it's gonna look bad. So eventually, it's gonna come after you. But everyone needs to learn how to release emotional states, forgive, letting go of emotions that don't serve you, but not running from them. Running and dealing with them is two very different things. And we don't want to kind of be in a tsunami of emotions, but also we don't want to like completely leave and say, oh, it doesn't even exist. It does exist. If you feel it, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, Michael, I really want to repeat this one thing, because I think it's so important, like being able to ask for help. And theoretically, we know that women are asking for help more than men, but I don't think so. Mm-hmm. The more knowing by myself, about me, and knowing about a lot of women around me, women very often hesitate to ask for help. They feel like they're carrying the whole world on their shoulders, and they do it. And so I just want to bring it back to allowing ourselves to be vulnerable in that way, and knowing, and it's not a weakness, it's a great strength, and it's kind of standing up for yourself, for what am I here to do? What am I here to accomplish? And we are not meant to do it alone. And that's why these communities are so important. That's why like these teachings are so important. Like Michael is teaching Kabbalah, and there's a beautiful community. If anybody is interested, there's a beautiful community that is really like picks you up when you need it the most, and teaches you and allows you to see the perspective of how beautiful it is to ask for help. Because when you're asking for help, you're allowing other people to contribute as well. So you're allowing other people to ask for help as well. So you're creating space when others can grow. Because being vulnerable is a great way to grow. It's to and release.
One of the only ones.
And the only ones, yes. And to be able to release these emotions that are blockages in our body, ultimately, it just brings us to the place where we become more healthy human beings, expressing emotions, releasing them, asking for help, being vulnerable. That's a formula for healthy living as well.
Yeah, 100%. People, I wish I would understand that statement more also. Because it's such a big statement that actually your conscious, mental, and emotional health affect your physical health. And it's something that I also want to mention, you know, when we go after trying to look good and not asking for help, you assume that, oh, it's better that I will look good because I will look like I made it on my own, I did it all by myself, etc. But actually, your goal in life is to be asking for more and more help and to be more and more vulnerable. So whenever you have an opportunity to ask for help, you're always going to be in a winning situation. It's not the other way. We're not meant to be like all these all-accomplishing people or being that like accomplish incredible things. Your accomplishment will be that you ask for help. So this month, better than any other month, to proactively go outside of your comfort zone and to ask for help from everything that you could possibly think you already know, and to find new ways to be asking for help. You know, it's like I wanna just share something. There's an app now that has so much educational stuff on it. It just teaches you a tremendous amount of different techniques, etc., and wisdom. And someone posted a meme from that, saying, posting a message and you know, a tip that was on that app, on the social media app, and saying, now I don't know if I'm breathing correctly. Meaning there's so much new information now going around, and you will get more and more of it by you asking for more and more help. It's a beautiful thing. And the more you ask for help and say that there's so many different ways of doing things, and that's really the true progress of humanity and civilization and cultures, is when they were open to ask for help, to get different perspectives, to see different points of view, etc. That was the true success. So success, we need to reassociate. It's not how good you look. It's about how much spiritual accomplishment you did. And asking for help is one of the biggest spiritual accomplishments you can ever make. You don't have to do everything that people are telling you to do or the way they tell you to do it. However, the process of asking for help, that's already a big step. So people assume that, like, oh, if I ask help and they tell me to do it this way and I don't like it, oh, then I'm going to do something that I don't want to do. No, you're just hearing more and more opinions, you know?
Yeah. And also, I just wanted to add how much it's connected to Sag, because Sag is jumping and escaping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So escaping the emotions, escaping dealing, like it's not only physically moving around, but it's also like escaping your very deep fears, escaping your avoiding and escaping, being vulnerable, right? So ultimately, we are doing this, going against our nature during this time, and it amplifies it. So when we ask for help, or we're being vulnerable, right, we are amplifying the results it could bring us, because right now it's exactly the going against the nature of Sag, and that's the energy that is available and everyone is affected by. And I just wanted to say that asking for help could also be, just from my personal life, like to say, I don't understand how to understand this. Like, help me to understand. So it's like, having the heart open, and I'm speaking like from my experience this week, like, and it's coming week, but I'm already experiencing it. It's kind of being really vulnerable and saying like, I just don't understand this, like a concept or behavior, or why like we do this the way we do it, and I really want to understand it so that I could be better in this relationship, so that I could help another person be in this relationship in the way that it will be more union and more oneness and togetherness. But we need to be vulnerable, like in other words, what I'm trying to say is like inside of the relationships, it's not only like successful business and asking for help to bring the shopping, heavy shopping up in the apartment, but like asking for help to understand another person and being vulnerable enough to say like, I don't know how to understand this. So
Sure.
like take it to all levels. Take it to the level of relationships with our children,
Mm-hmm.
with our parents, with friends, everything.
Everyone, totally.
Everyone, like to really ask for help to understand, ask for help to like, how can we make this relationship better? How can we be? I just think it's so important for all of us. Again, turning to what's happening in the world, it's all about how we're relating to each other, how
Yeah,
we understand each other.
I agree. I agree. All right, Julia, I think should we do a meditation or anything?
Yes, if we can do a quick meditation
Yeah.
round, I think.
Yeah, that's always essential. So meditation is a way for us to access more of our subconscious, more of our emotions, and to be connected to our grounded and be more connected to ourselves. So this meditation is very simple. You can follow along or you can just listen, and it works either way. You first want to close your eyes, be comfortable. You can stand, you can sit, whatever it is, whatever is better for you. And then you want to focus your consciousness in your heart. And then we want to send our consciousness to the middle of the earth and feel and send this energy from the middle of the earth and feel it come all the way from the bottom of our feet to the top of our head. And we want to see how this energy comes from the top of our head and form a beautiful ball of light. And you want to see yourself go into this ball of light. And imagine looking out from this ball of light and seeing everything around you through this ball of light. And then we want to send this sphere, this tselem, as it's called in Hebrew, up through wherever we are, above the building and the space we're in, and travel faster than the speed of light through the whole universe, and goes through layers of light that are outside of our universe. And they're progressively getting brighter, and we come to a very bright layer of light, and then a golden layer, and then a jello-like plane substance. And then you want to see an opening of beautiful pearl-like iridescent light. You want to approach this opening and go through it and enter the plane of the creator. And at the beginning it has sparkles of pink and blue, and as you go higher, just you see and feel just pure energy. And you want to envision how this beautiful pearl-like energy, and you want to see how your ball of light melts and becomes one with this energy. You might have like a tingling sensation in your mind. And here we are able to access the creator of the universe, the reality, truth in our universe and world much faster. And we want to receive what's called downloads this is from the Theta Healing practice. We want to receive downloads, and also with Kabbalistic meditations. First download we want to know is what is the creator's definition of having an open heart, having an open mind, finding new ways of connecting with people, exploring the world, exploring relationships, exploring other people's points of view. So if you want that, say yes. And we want to take the child within us, the escape artist that loves to run away from dealing with emotions, dealing with our heartache, dealing with our responsibility. And we want to tell them to be present, that it's okay. There's no pain that the Creator can't take away. There's no wound that He can't heal. There's no confusion that He can make clear. And to ask the Creator to help us in our spiritual journey, to give us the wisdom of the heart, as it's called by the Kabbalists, to give us wisdom that comes from within, not just our logical mind, but from deep within our soul. And we want to be open to know that even if we might look like we were wrong, that actually in the big picture, if we accept that we were wrong, we're actually going to be right. That's the only way to be right. And we also want to connect to miracles, to adventure, to fun, to playfulness, to ingenuity, through Creator, to help us use this month for all of its positive attributes. So if you want that, also say yes. Maybe take 30 seconds just to be present in your heart and see and feel, is there anything that is in your heart that you haven't been dealing with? Is there anything you want to forgive yourself, forgive someone else? And now is definitely the time to do all that. And before we open our eyes, we want to see, as we rinse ourselves in this energy, fill us up with this light again. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Okay. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Mikki.
Thank you so much, Mike. Have a beautiful week, everybody. We're going to meet together again on Sunday at 12 next Sunday. We're going to have a beautiful topic. Remember that energy that of this month is opening our hearts. That's what we are creating.
Yes.
And miracles.
Through opening our hearts. Right? Okay. Bye, everyone. Love.
Have a wonderful week. Love. Oh. Bye-bye.